You know, I have multiple variations of what my if would be. Although, if I was hungry, I'd say one of them would be a Domino's pizza. Ah, look at that cute fella. Hello, little pepperoni Domino's pizza. Ah, I love that thing. Hey, come back, come back. You don't need to go back. Man, I could throw that thing in my face any day. No, I didn't mean literally.
The filming Daniel.
Ugh. Yeah. Bad best pizza. That's a bad best pizza. I'm just kidding. You're cute. Okay. Hey guys, it's Daniel here, back with a new review. And in this review, I'm going to be talking about a movie that seems very interesting and came from the director of... Wow. He really likes his variety of things he directs. Today, I'm here to talk about the new live-action / animated comedy, children's kind of fantasy movie, If. So the premise of If, no relation to that, follows a little girl named Bee who had a really happy childhood, although because her father is going through a hard time at this moment, she's more trying to grow up too fast. However, she discovers that her neighbour upstairs, named Cal, actually has the ability to see these mysterious figures called Ifs, which is like the short way of imaginary friend, or what if, as Blue would say, as, well, she comes across a if called Blue and another if called Blossom. They work together to find out that there's actually more ifs out there who were imaginary friends of kids until they grow up. So Bee and Cal decides to help these if find new kids before they disappear, and along the way Bee learns the importance of keeping a part of her childhood alive and not to grow up too fast. So when I first heard about the making of this movie, I was like, that sounds very endearing and enjoyable. I mean, the idea of like seeing imaginary friends has been done in like many like children's shows, but the fact that they're doing it like with a live action cast definitely made it seem like it was going to be pretty otherworldly. And they definitely had a star-studded cast, including Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, who is the director and writer, I believe, of this movie, but I know he definitely directed it, and I'm like, wow, the director of A Quiet Place directed this movie? Wow, he definitely does have his variety. You know, him, Ryan Reynolds, Emily Blunt, Steve Carell, Awkwafina, Bradley Cooper, Matt Damon, Jon Stewart, and Sam Rockwell, like, so many names! So many names. And the lead actress of this movie is Kaylee Fleming, aka Judith Grimes herself from The Walking Dead, as the main character of Bee. So I'm like, wow, this actress is definitely starting to evolve a bit more. Now she's in a big movie with big actors. Man, her career might be taking high after this movie. So, I watched the trailers and I was very excited to see it. So, I finally watched the film, and what do I think about it? I really enjoyed it. I found it very endearing. Is it the greatest movie ever? Hard to say, but... Actually, not hard to say. Why am I saying that? Am I saying that in a different way? Why am I saying that? Anyway, I don't think it's the best film in the world. Of course not. No film is. This film definitely does have its problems. But overall, it was a charmingly made family film that I will say I liked. In my opinion, one of the best things about this movie has to be the acting, in both the live action department and the voice acting department. All the actors felt like they were really giving their all, like they understood what kind of material they're working with, and they really want to give these characters their own and make them feel alive. I mean, we have Judith herself, Kaylee Fleming, as the main character of Bee, and like I said, she is really taking off her career, because I've already thought she was amazing as Judith Grimes, but where she landed in this film, I thought was really great as well, because she really has to capture that character, that feels like her childhood is going away fast, but also finding ways to act like she's interacting with these imaginary friend figures and characters. And for me, I think she did a fantastic job at really capturing what it feels like to be a child, trying to be grown up, and interacting with those figure characters. But at the same time, she also has her dramatic acting chops that she had in The Walking Dead, but for more family, child-friendly kinds of things, because of course we don't want to see blood in a family movie like this. But there's one scene with her character where she is discussing an emotional sentiment towards a certain character, and I won't give too much away about what that scene is, but that scene is legitimately heart-wrenching to watch, and it's because of her performance. And honestly, after this movie, I can definitely see a future for her in more big movies, and I honestly cannot wait to see her in more roles. She might be the next Millie Bobby Brown in the next 5 years or so. And then we have Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool himself, as Cal, the man upstairs. I think he was fantastic in the movie as well, because honestly, I think that he really captured like one of those like grown-ups that is stuck in like a childish situation, and he's trying to like keep like a bit of like a level-headed like adultnism inside of him. I haven't seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but I know of the character of Eddie Valiant in that movie, and I feel like that this John Krasinski wrote the character kind of like what Eddie Valiant was in that movie. But I thought Ryan Reynolds did a fantastic job. He's more of a grumpy character, but we do find out later on, and like there's so many things about his character that we find out later on that I was just so shocked about. But I did want him to find some goodness in hanging out with these ifs, and I did find it very endearing watching him and Bee bond and bonding with these ifs. It's also very hilarious seeing Ryan Reynolds getting grumpy or like disturbed or scared by the multiple of like ludicrous characters around him. I just can't help but find that funny. And then we have the ifs themselves. I think that a lot of them were very good and endearing. I mean, we don't get to know all of them because there's like so many in the movie, but a lot of the actors that portray them did a fantastic job with their voice roles. We have the main if, I would say probably Blue, voiced by Steve Carell, and I thought that Steve Carell fit very well with the character of Blue, and Blue himself, man, he's just, he has a few jokes that might not work, but for the most part he's so endearing. He's like, you just want to grab him and just give him a big old hug, because he's like enormous and very comfy if you give him a hug, like, oh my god, I love you so much. And I think that Steve Carell did a fantastic job making him come off as endearing. And then we have Phoebe Waller something, the lead actress from Fleabag, which I have not seen, as the voice of Blossom. I think Blossom was very good as well. She has a little bit of like a fancy, like, polite personality, making her come off as pretty posh, and I think that Phoebe did a fantastic job voicing her. We do get to learn more about her, and I honestly was so shocked by some connections that she has with Bee, which again, I will not spoil, but they did a fantastic job, and I like the animation on her, as well as, well, okay, I'm not exactly sure why she looks like Minnie Mouse, but I think that she was really good, and, like, there's a scene where we find out more about her, and, like, her conclusion to her character really fit with the kind of, like, if that she's supposed to be, and I think that she was fantastic. All the other actors were fantastic as their ifs. Bradley Cooper as this glass of water, which, honestly, when I heard him, I was like, yep, that's Rocket Raccoon. Sam Rockwell as, like, the super dog was very charismatic. Matt Damon as this very, like, calm sunflower, fantastic. And Louis Gossett Jr., I don't know about this actor, as, like, the teddy bear character, I also found very, like, you know, kind of, like, soft and gentle, and I found him very calm and relaxing as well. I think the actor passed away, so rest in peace to the actor, but he came off as very wise and very, like, calm and grandfatherly. The animation on the ifs were very good as well. Sure, sometimes they don't look exactly like they're in the real world, but I think that kind of adds to the otherworldliness of these characters that makes them, like, unique and very stand out compared to the human world. And I will say, there are many moments in the movie where I found that the endearingness in a family film was truly represented here, because this movie really likes to explore the downgrades and, like, determination of somebody growing up too fast. and can sometimes point out benefits because it shows that they're becoming more aware about how the world works, but it also makes them lose a sight of like who makes them who they are and what makes them happy. And I like that the movie really likes to explore that, keep not growing too fast or keeping a childlikeness alive inside of you, like keeping your nostalgia alive, keeping what makes you happy inside can lead to some courage to be like the best person you can be, and also just to help you feel like you're being yourself. In fact, come think of it, the ifs being a part of somebody's life isn't necessarily like saying, oh, you should have an imaginary friend, you know, not everybody's going to think that, but more like finding that inner child inside you if you're going through a hard time, and like keeping like that part of you alive to keep moving forward through your life in a happy way makes you feel more confident about the world. I think that that is a beautiful sentiment that the movie gives, and there are moments that I can't help but feel like, oh, and some of the emotional moments. And also, there are like 2 twists in the story, like near the end, like 2 reveals that get, well, revealed. I won't give away what they are, but they were so shocking, and they also added to the emotional sentiment. In fact, the second reveal, in terms of like a connection between Bee and Cal, which I again won't give away, really just made it so much more detailed and kind of adds in a bit of, without giving too much away, a sense of conscience. Now, I'm not going to say anything else about that, but when you see the movie, you'll know what I mean. Although, come think of it, I made a project in college that kind of has like that. Did this movie copy my idea? Well, actually, this movie was written before I wrote mine project, so maybe I copied its idea without even knowing it. But whatever, I still think it was fantastic. And there are a few moments in the movie that did make me laugh. And again, I felt like this movie can appeal to everybody. If you watch this movie now as a kid, years later you're going to feel like that is a nostalgic classic. And any adults who watch the movie will feel the same kind of sentiment of being a kid as they were in the past, because I'm pretty sure a lot of adults in the past can relate to the childlike personalities that this movie likes to explore. Now, did I have some problems with this film? Yes, I did, because I really liked the movie for the most part, but I do have a few little issues that, honestly, they're not a lot, but they do kind of affect the film in a pretty way. In my opinion, the one problem that really comes to mind for me has to be its pacing. I felt like the movie was a bit too rushed. I mean, it's like what? An hour and 44 minutes, and honestly that should seem like a long movie, but it's like, it felt like a bit of like a hour and 20 minutes. It felt like that. There are a few scenes where I felt like they kind of skid by, and also when the ifs get introduced, they definitely kind of like rush a few parts where not every if gets their attention. And I know there's a lot of ifs, so honestly they can't focus on a lot of them, but honestly maybe cut out a few of the ifs and just focus on like the main ifs that we're focusing on, like Blue, Blossom, and the teddy bear character, and maybe throw in 2 or 3 more. But because they have so many ifs, Blue and Blossom kind of get pushed aside later on, and I'm like, oh, come on, you don't need to push aside those characters, they're great characters. And I just felt like there are some scenes where I felt like that they really discover something monumental, but they kind of rush it by to like, oh my god, what is this? Hey character, what do you think this is? Oh, that's something really cool. Okay, let's just go to this thing. And like, bro, come on. Like, maybe like talk a bit more instead of like rushing a few sentences. In fact, honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was the way I was watching the movie, but I felt like they kind of skipped a scene or 2 at one point, and I'm like, was that the way I was watching the movie, or did John Krasinski actually like direct that by accident? So maybe I don't know what that problem is, but I did feel like that the movie was kind of speeding itself up a bit, and I felt like it maybe could have been like 10 minutes or 15 minutes longer, but it's a family movie, and some of the kids in the audience that's going to watch the movie might find it a bit too long, so hey, what are you going to do? But I just felt like that with some of the ifs that I was introduced to, and I found very endearing, I wanted to learn more about it, I wanted to focus on those characters more rather than focusing on the other ifs, because some of the ifs in like the background are not that noticeable. I mean, I noticed their looks, but I never noticed their personalities. Like the whole Banana character, the Bubbles character, voiced by Awkwafina, and I'm like, really? Awkwafina? twice you make your way into my reviews and I'm talking about you. I mean, first it was Kung Fu Panda 4, and now it's this one. How is Awkwafina getting casted in so many animated movies? Like, is her voice recognizable, or the fact that her name, Awkwafina, is just one name? What are you, like Zendaya or something? Like, okay. Wow, I detracted myself talking about Awkwafina. Let's just get back to the review. And I will admit that not all the jokes landed for me. I mean, they were good, but not all of them landed for me. But again, I just wanted to focus more on these characters because, honestly, despite my problems, I really liked the movie. The characters that we're focusing on, I found very endearing and wanted to follow them on this adventure. The acting was fantastic, the voice acting was fantastic, the visuals were great, the comedy was good, and it's just one of those movies that you'd watch now, and then later on in the years, when you come back to see it again and find it so nostalgic, you're like, that is my nostalgic movie. Like, if this movie came out 10 years ago and I was watching it, I would be like, yeah, that's a nostalgic classic of mine. And I'm pretty sure kids nowadays will find it that nostalgic later on, because it really touches like the consciousness and the like inner child within every human being. And I think that the movie did a fantastic job doing that. And there are a few emotional moments that the inner child in me can find very like, oh. So that's why I'm going to give the movie a 4 out of 5. It's definitely worth the watch, and if you haven't seen the movie yet, and if you have a family and you want to go see a movie where everybody can enjoy it, I'd say give If a watch. But anyway, I would like to know what you guys think about If. Do you find it great and you find it endearing, or I even felt like it's okay, it's a bit of a childish thing and I'm not interested in seeing it whatsoever? And I want to ask you this question: what movie really connects with the inner child inside you? Let me know in the comment section below. More videos to come, and I'm Daniel reviewing movies, TV shows, doing videos, and just seeing my slice of pizza float to me again. Well, at least it didn't slap me in the face this time. Yep, I still love Domino's pizza. One of the greatest pizza as well. Pepperoni pizza, fantastic. Peace out. I said pizza out, didn't I? I meant peace out, man. Wow, I should probably turn that into a joke.